Everybody. I'm so happy to see you all. This is just so amazing. And also, I just wanted to state that from my home, I'd like to acknowledge the unceded lands of the Goshute, Shoshone, and Ute peoples and the continued existence and contributions of Indigenous people who have lived on and cared for this land for thousands of years. And UNA has been such an amazing home for me for these past almost 4.5 years. And I have just loved interacting and engaging with everybody. So we've got many former board members and current board members and people who have, I don't know, supported UNA throughout all of the many years. And I'm just so excited to spend this time with you all. It's great to celebrate a birthday on this beautiful day. If we were not in times of COVID, we were planning a wonderful block party. There was going to be music, there was going to be food, but instead we got Zoom, and that's okay, because it allowed us to rethink how we were going to do our birthday celebration throughout the year. And we are going to make sure that for this year, kicking off today, we are going to be celebrating a year's worth of UNA in its 30th year. So hopefully in June 2021, we will actually have that block party to culminate that whole space. So it'd be great to see you all there in 12 months from now. But for this date, our documents say that on June 18th, 1990, we became a thing. So I'm really excited about that. And Brandy and the rest of Team UNA has done some really good work of planning a program for us. So I'm excited about that. And what I'd really love to do is, we've got UNA staff on the screen. Because I've got everybody in block view here. We've got Brandy, and we've got Allison, Jill, Colin is down there, and then also Cameron as well. So we're Team UNA is 6 people now, which is really great. And we've got our current board chair, Rob. He's also on the call, and lots of current and former board members and supporters and other staff and all of that jazz with UNA. So, yay, Brandy.
Well, we're going to switch up our agenda for the day because Ruby has offered to play the piano for us. She is the executive director for the Mundi Project, and it's so great. So Ruby is going to play the piano, and we're going to sing happy birthday. Yeah, we are. Why not? So this is a great opportunity. Let's all turn off our mute.
Oh, that's probably a good, I don't know. Are we singing together so everybody can hear?
Let's see what this experience is like on Zoom.
It's going to be pure cacophony, and it's going to be so great.
I love it. Ruby, lead us.
I'm not singing till everyone unmutes themselves.
Yeah, put your foot down, Richard.
Nobody's singing.
Okay, Ruby, we're going to restart, and I'm going to give us a count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to
UNA.
Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday, dear UNA. Happy birthday to you. That wasn't awkward at all.
That was terrible. That was so bad.
That was not awful, Steve.
That was worse than my family sounds.
Well, I have a very fun question for you. Wait, I don't want to cut anyone off. Okay,
nice job to Ruby because she saved us.
Yes, she did. Thank you so much, Ruby, for jumping in and offering that. We were incorporated in 1990. Can anybody tell me what was the best picture, or what movie won Best Picture in 1990?
Without Googling.
Oh, good point.
Or you could say depends on if you have a smart speaker at home.
This will be a flashback.
This was almost exactly 4 years before I was born.
Oh, it was Driving Miss Daisy in 1990.
Well, all right.
10 years later, who can tell me what was the best picture that won? Any thoughts? If we start with Driving Miss Daisy, this one might get a little bit more awkward. It was American Beauty.
Oh.
If you've ever tried to source a photo of this movie for an online birthday party, there are some that you're like, I really shouldn't post that. And the final one so that was 1990, 2000, and in 2010. I am ashamed to say I have never seen this movie.
Lord of the Rings.
Ooh, that's a good guess. It's not Lord of the Rings.
I have the answers. It would be
I know.
unfair of me to answer.
I'm looking at it right now.
Thanks, Brandy.
You're welcome. And then all of a sudden, like, I lose my mouse, so that's fun. Okay. It was actually The Hurt Locker. Has anybody seen this movie?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's intense.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that was a fun one to end on then. The other thing so in 1990, there were two large amusement parks that opened. Any thoughts? In Florida? It was Nickelodeon and Universal Studios Orlando. I found some old throwback photos of those as well. Here is Orlando. That just makes me smile whenever I see that big group photo.
Brandy, there
Yeah.
was the 2020 Best Picture, by the way.
What was it?
Parasite.
Oh. Yeah, see, I honestly, I apparently don't pay attention enough. There's some other fun ones in here, though. In 1990, which was the 1990 Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Comedy Series? Ooh, someone's got a dog.
Peggy's dogs.
Oh, yep. It was, let's see. These buttons are really working out well for me today. There we go. Murphy Brown.
Oh.
I don't know about, I should probably put in a caveat. I was 8 in 1990.
I was -4.
Oh, wow.
And I love that show.
I did too.
Then the other one for in 1990 Emmy Award for Outstanding Variety, Music, or Comedy Series. And this one I do remember watching, but mostly it was because I watched it on reruns.
Friends.
Ooh, good guess.
I know.
Not Friends.
Nancy had that suggestion earlier about one.
Mm-hmm.
Who remembers this?
I do. I've been watching it actually. I'm not
In
gonna lie.
Living Color.
Yep,
Yep, I still know the jingle.
We need Fire Marshal Bill.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Oh man, the breakout. Peggy had a really good guess. Golden Girls. I should have pulled in some Golden Girls somehow.
I know.
Oh, man, that would have been fun. Let's see. So, can anybody tell me what year the UNA Standards of Ethics for Nonprofits was first introduced?
2002?
Ooh, earlier.
I was going to say 2000.
Even earlier.
98?
98. That was when, we held a roundtable event with executive directors in April 1998. And then after a lot of work and more task force like discussions and building out the standards of ethics, it was officially launched and adopted January 10th of 2000. It took us 2 years to get that program up and going. How impressive. And it's still going very strong. So those of you who are on our birthday party today, just know that you left a lasting impact with those standards. And we use them daily.
So I was right. The official date was 2000.
Oh, good point, Steve.
Yeah, good point.
You know what? You beat me on that one, sir. Let's see.
So what is my prize for that?
30
virtual-
years. It's your birthday, Steve. 30. I don't know.
I could try for a virtual hug, but that might get a little awkward.
I'm a little surprised there's no one on who was on the board that I can see in the first year, in the founding year.
Oh, you know what? We actually have some trivia questions. Steve, you might be our ace in the hole on that one. How many logos has UNA had in 30 years?
2.
We've got 2. We've got 3. Says 4. 3.
Ooh.
They're in our bathroom.
4.
They are in our bathroom in the office. Good call, Colin.
That we all haven't been to in months.
Did one look like a toilet seat?
I guess that's subjective. I actually was not able to find a full historical lineup of them all. But I was able to say we've had many, and I found some of our older ones as well. So here's one from our 25 year. Does anybody remember this one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We got a tiny one here. This is one we have in the bathroom because we have an old canvas from when this was used. And then there's this one. And then I think I found another one. There we go. Southern Utah Community Impact Summit. I thought that was super interesting. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I talk with a lot of nonprofits about their budget. Or I'm not about their budget, about their logo. I do talk about their budgets in addition.
The conversations we can have in our sleep.
Oh my gosh. So true. I just haven't started carrying around bylaws in my purse yet though. So
I do.
Who can tell me who the National Council of Nonprofits is that isn't currently being paid to work at UNA? National Council of Nonprofits.
Kathy. Ooh.
It's the National Association for all of the nonprofits in the United States.
Correct. They are an incredible partner in our
Nerd,
work. We work
nerd.
with them. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, I should have had a bell or something.
Nerd.
I don't think that's
on their board, right?
nerdy. That's more aware.
What was
Sounds
that?
like you've been in the board chair position.
Too long.
Kate serves on that board, right?
I do, yes.
Does. That's why I know. Besides, I'm into national associations. National associations of nerds.
Let's see.
Make a logo for that.
What department of the University of Utah did the UNA have our earliest ties to?
Ding, ding.
Yes.
MBA program.
Is it the MBA?
MPA.
MPA. Also, the Center for Public Policy Administration? Is that the
That's
same
not
as
a
MPA?
That's not a program, though. But
Department.
the MPA Center for Public Policy, yeah, that would be true too.
There you go. Kate found that nugget in our archive. Let's see, who can name any of the original Board of Trustees?
I can
Steve?
name one or two.
Let's hear them.
Richard Starley,
He wasn't on my list. Kate?
Roz McGee,
Does Gerald Merrill sound familiar?
So these are the original 4 that signed the Articles of Incorporation.
Ah.
but who were the 4?
We
There
have
was-
Gerald Merrill, Marilyn Treshow, Sandra McIntyre, John Pinter, and Celeste Bowers Iron. Anybody remember those names? I see Joshua. No? Mary's like, nope. That's what happens when you go super deep into your archives. You're like, look at that. I found the original, the OG.
Yeah, but I don't think that was the original Board of Trustees, was it? Those were the ones who signed the articles?
Incorporated.
Those are the ones that submitted the Articles of Incorporation that were signed
Yeah.
on today's
I don't
date, 30
think that
years.
was the first
Yeah.
board, though.
Interesting.
Has anybody ever tried to go through the historical archives of a 30-year-old nonprofit?
The
I worked
things
with Girl
we've
Scouts.
uncovered.
Imagine going through that archive. I was like, look, I found art. I found logos. What was the original purpose of UNA? In 1990, our Articles of Incorporation stated that our purpose was to operate exclusively for charitable purposes to strengthen the nonprofit sector in 1990. And then in 1991, we added and educational.
And we've been that way ever since.
Good.
I agree, Mary. That is good. Let's see. In 2000, so what year did we hire our first executive director? I already said the year.
2001, yeah,
2000.
Does anyone know her name?
sure.
Chris
Steve?
Bray?
Chris was in 2012 to 2015. Good guess though, Rob.
Yeah,
Just
Josh.
changed on nothing.
I have knowledge, so I won't answer.
Oh,
Yeah, Josh got it right. Say it again, Josh.
Dion Hartz Warsaw.
Yep.
Right.
yes. Let's see. What about right after Diane? Or Deanne, if I'm saying that.
Dion.
Don Gomes, right here.
Yeah, it was Don right there.
Number 2, executive director representing. Love it.
I often get called for two. So.
I've had lots of really fun conversations this week with Dawn and with Steve about these things. It's been
Yeah.
great.
Let's
and
see.
Dion, actually.
Oh, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Prior to Kate, who is our interim executive director or our interim CEO?
Pearl Wright.
Yes, it was. Welcome, Cassandra. Let's see. When we left the umbrella of at the UNA or at the U of U, where did we move to? Where was our physical location moved to?
Hey, it was on 400 South.
It was on four. Is it on? I can't remember. I don't know. I get lost all the time.
Prior to that, it was the Walker Building.
The Walker
The Walker Building. All good. Yeah, Nancy got it too.
Let's see. Who was the board chair at the time we hired our first executive director?
Chris Scherer.
Yes. And she actually, Chris shared, said of UNA's first paid staff member, Dion. No.
It's you're wanting to say it the way that it's written, but it is Dion.
Dion. Okay.
Yeah.
Dion was a good first executive. She was an organizational whiz and a great first staff person in that job. Not everyone would have made a success of it. Quite some accolades there. On the day that UNA was born, 30 years ago, how old was Kate?
I love the chuckle.
19.
Ooh, nope.
9. She gave me days. 9 years and 215 days old.
It's really important when you're 9 years old to count the months or the days.
9 years and 3/4. Let's see. Under whose leadership did UNA change the title from executive director to chief executive officer?
Chris Bray.
Chris Bray, there she is. What annual event in our community honoring those that give their time, talents, and treasures to has UNA participated in since the very beginning?
Philanthropy Day.
That's right. Wow, you guys, I think it was nice to have Dawn, Steve, and Josh giving us little nuggets here and there. They really knew that history. So thank you so much for sharing.
So did Nancy. There was
Nancy,
a lot
that's
of,
right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah. Nancy says she's got dogs in the background, so she's just typing our answers.
I love it.
Let's be sure you give Steve O that credit, not Steve B.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Through that for a while.
I'm sure, right?
You aren't old enough, Steve.
Well, others would disagree.
So what I love is we're going to do some other like get to know you questions, but we have so many people on of all of the faces that I can see that have served on the board of UNA, who have been staff members or current staff at UNA, and just supporters of our community. So let's, with a show of hands so everybody can see, have you served on UNA's board? A show of hands. Well, look at that. I guess technically me too as a staff person. All right. Have you been UNA staff or currently UNA staff? Nice, nice. Love seeing that.
Are you currently a member of UNA?
Thank you.
I don't know.
Yes, Steve.
Yeah, Steve, you
given
are.
life membership.
Steve-O, you're in.
Okay. I don't pay anymore. That, you know.
Nope. Well, as we're moving through here, we would love to get to know each other more and connect more. So my question is, do you love working from home, or would you rather be in the office, or do you like kind of like a balance between the two?
I'll speak out. Home.
I get more done at the office.
Oh, interesting. I'd like my dog to stop bringing me toys.
I like a split.
A split?
Yeah.
I struggle working from home.
Is it like, I find it's hard to like switch the environment mindset. I mean, we've been working from home now for 3 months or so, so.
Yeah, we do 4 almost, but I'm volunteer coordinator, so I miss the face-to-face.
People person right there.
We've become pretty digital in DDI Vantage. You can see my uniform. I dress every day for work, and then I hit a certain time during the day. So new skills have been developed working from home, but we do miss everybody. It's just a new normal.
My experience has been it's more convenient from home, but it's more effective from the office.
Ooh, one interesting perspective.
This is Christy. I am not Colin Schrock. This is my IT person, so just FYI. I love the structure of the office and the predictability of it. So my printer works, my internet works, going down the hall works, although we're mixed on our end. So we have a lot of people telecommuting and I come into a very light staff these days. So I think a hybrid of both is good. What I have found is even those that are coming in the office, they're kind of flexing their hours as well. So we don't have the standard 9 to 5 anymore. It's very much people are coming in and doing what they need to do. And I think at least from an agency perspective, we've been really productive that way. So we're not going to change anything in the near future. I've offered up people coming back into the office. Some have taken me up on it. Obviously, there's additional protocol with masks and sneeze guards, and it looks very COVID over here, just FYI. So yeah, it's been a fascinating process, but we're definitely taking the technology and realizing that there's some distinct advantages. We can increase our sphere of influence, or at least reach out to colleagues across the country in ways that make us more connected that way, but more disconnected staff-wise. So it's been an interesting phenomenon.
Thank you all so much for sharing. I know that switch from being in the office to working remote and now being more flexible, and it's a switch in mindset. And so I just appreciate you sharing, because it helps us all to understand that we're not alone. And that's definitely something that I feel being a part of the UNA community, is that I don't feel alone. I feel like I'm a part of something bigger than myself, because we're all working to make this world a better place. And I also wanted to throw a shout out to Josh. He's now the board chair of the Maryland Nonprofit Association. So staying involved. Love it. Thank you for contributing and helping.
I learned it all here in Utah, so.
Good. You all are doing some amazing work in Maryland as well. So we're all really connected within that network.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is anybody willing to share a memory that you have of UNA?
Well, I'm going to have a lot of memories.
I think she may have just unmuted her or muted herself.
Well, I can say, do you want to go back in the time when our treasurer was jailed?
Oh my gosh.
We can definitely talk about that, but Kathy's mic is hot again.
Oh man, the adventures that a nonprofit can go through. So how were you involved when that went down?
I was on the board.
That is, as someone who still sees the paperwork,
Yes.
Thank you for all you've done.
and it was for embezzling our funds. It was not for unrelated activities. Yeah, that's when we were teaching other nonprofits how to really manage their operations. Yeah.
I think what's so interesting about that part in our history is that I openly talk about it as this organization's leader, and I use it as an opportunity to tell people that it's okay and it's not embarrassing to talk about fraud, that you have to be transparent about it. And we do lots of show and tell. Allison and I had show and tell today with the mail, which is fun doing virtually. And I'm sure many of you probably know what Steve is alluding to, but back in the mid to late 90s, we had a board member who embezzled our money. He agreed to come to all of the events and collect all of the dues, and then wouldn't show up to board meetings to discuss any part of the financials. And I had a really good conversation. Chris Scherer was the board chair at that time. And I had such a great conversation with her this week about uncovering that part of our history. And I have all of those files. I've looked through all of them, and that's been so very interesting to recognize and know. So, but we're still getting monthly checks from the state. So they stopped it for a period of time. So I think the the guy must have lost his job and then reappeared again. So
Is that what led to the creation of the Statement of Ethics?
it might have, I don't know.
No.
Well, no, because the standards of ethics probably occurred at that time, around that same time that this was all sort of going down.
Yeah.
But
I think one of my favorite memories is when Kate and team started pursuing the move was great, but the pursuit of this of the current offices was just, I loved the enthusiasm, the strategies, everything that went into securing the new offices, and it was, quite a move up for us, and it was great to see that in action.
oh, thank you. Kathy, you were going to say something, and then your mic, and you're still on mute. You're on mute, Kathy. We can't hear you.
Really? Why?
There we go.
Okay, mine's being off. It's being opposite. Okay, I wanted to say something about working from home, but I've announced my retirement, and I'm retiring at the end of this month. But I've had this really bizarre experience where for the last 3 months I've been working from home, and so now I know what retirement's like. I have caught up with my husband. He's been retired for 8 years, and I'm trying to catch up with him. And the weird thing is, like, I want to go to work, but I want to stay home. And now I know what retirement's going to be like, and I'm going to miss my office a lot. I'm going to miss my friends and my colleagues. I'm going to miss my work, but I'm going to be around, and I'm going to get to spend all that time with my husband as well. So I miss all of you guys all the time. I miss being in person with people a lot. This is garbage. I'm sorry, because I want to hug everybody, but it's been great, and I'm glad that I'm going to be able to spend more time doing stuff that I want to do with Bill, and that I want to do, fly fishing and so forth. But it's been a great career, but this is a really weird way to retire.
Sure it is.
Don't worry, Kathy, you can volunteer anytime. Wink, wink. Just because you retire from a paid job.
I'm not sure. The volunteering for board was way harder than I ever thought. I have great respect for anybody who's been a board chair. I did this out of gratitude to Kate and every other board member that I've ever had. And I had no idea what I was asking people to do. So it was a great experience for me.
What are some other memories?
Another really, really super one. Our 20th year anniversary was a celebration up in the 4th floor of the Rice Eccles Stadium. And I think there were 400 people.
I think I was there, Steve. That was great. That was really great.
We were able to get presidents from sometime back in the 90s there. That was
a wonderful event.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
One of the things that I remember fondly was, and I can't remember if it was 2008, 2009, but it was the first nonprofit day at Capitol. Robin Pratt was one of our staff people. She put it together, and obviously it's grown, and all of you have done some great work with that. But I think, among other things, it just opened for a lot of people who are involved in small nonprofits and maybe don't feel they have the entree, that talking to legislators was okay, that they didn't breathe fire, and they could actually have a conversation and talk about what they do.
Such a good point.
And now I have the pleasure of planning that every year.
And that's one of the amazing things about the growth of the organization. We now have policy staff that can do that work and focus entirely on that. So Colin's been with us for about 15 months. So that's been great. Other fun UNA memories?
I just want to kind of talk to the journey on the credentialing program and what it took to launch that, the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads, and I've just been so impressed with where it is today, and that it's probably the premier training for nonprofits. And that was a bumpy journey. But, the formative stages, it was a concept, and it was a big bite, I think, for this particular agency. You were dealing with just a small staff, outreach, competition with different other training providers, University of Utah, Community Foundation, and establishing the niche and negotiating that. I'm just so thrilled at where it landed and the fact that we are filling that space. So that's a big victory for UNA.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks.
And it continues to thrive. Sorry, Jill.
Oh, that's okay. I was going to say that I think if you were to ask me why it's successful, it's two important parts. And the first is that it's taught by people who have expertise in nonprofits and expertise in whatever the subject is. So right now we have EDs and former EDs leading most of the classes, and I think they bring a perspective that is really valuable. And the second thing I think that makes it so important is that we focus on helping people implement the best practices. I mean, I loved being a student. I loved it, but I never had to go home and apply Maslow's hierarchy of needs to anything. So in this case, we give people the information that they need and help them use it. And that's a plug. So if you want to enroll, we've got a class starting next week.
Jill is fantastic at doing that. It's leadership and organizational culture. It's fantastic.
Some of us will be joining that, and I'm going to kind of second what has been said. Colin and Jill, as a nonprofit, we're grateful for those opportunities. We've canceled all our plans for next week just so we can join.
Thank you. That's fantastic.
Martha, thank you. Jillian, did you want to say something?
I just wanted to say, shocker, we're registered. We do them all, so we're excited.
Yay, yay, that's so great.
Right.
Kate, Randy, first, thanks so much for putting this together today. Second, most important, thanks for carrying on some wonderful work that Utah Nonprofits Association does. You've really carried it to new levels, and I appreciate that, having some history. I need to sign off right now, but thanks to you for your involvement, and see you again at the 50th.
There you go. Before you log off, everyone look at the camera and wave. And you're good. Thank you.
We took a group photo.
Cameron, that was for you.
I'll use it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other memories of what you've seen or what you've gone through? Or
thanks, Josh.
I've got some memories.
Doing it. I'm the only one around from the 90s, though, when things were really nuts.
Well, I don't know. Mary says she's got some memories.
Well,
Mary, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Some of the things that really stand out to me about UNA are the interactions between people across different disciplines. You would host conferences, and we would get to meet people from all over, different generations, different fields, all under a common theme, whether it was superheroes or whether it was under a theme, bringing world-class speakers in to speak about everything from movement building to people like Vu Le and so forth. But what really stands out in my mind are the socials, because they would be hosted by different organizations, different people in different communities. And I got introduced to places like different theater groups or B-Boy Federation, or the different collaborations that were going on just by showing up and getting to see where people worked and the kind of innovative things they were doing. And I always came home with having met new people, and some of them I've been in touch with since, the year 2000 when I first started connecting with UNA. So the connections and the insights have just been really, really helpful to me in my life and my work.
Thank you, Mary.
Love that.
Thanks.
Do you want another funny one?
Yeah.
Sure.
We had an unpaid executive director in the very early years who we fired.
Unpaid fired. That's rough.
We fired him. He subsequently contacted the predecessor of National Conference, NCNA, and volunteered that we would host a national conference and didn't tell anyone.
Oh, man.
The chair of the board called me crying, saying, "What are we going to do?" And I said, "You call them back and you say, no, we're not." But isn't that wild? We fired an unpaid executive director who got even with us almost.
Almost. Well, you said host a national conference, and I looked over at the rest of the UNA staff, and we all went, no,
Yeah.
that's big. And we have 6 staff. Like, that's big.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we have come a long way. That is for sure.
Yeah, we have.
And I think about all of the great things that we're going to be able to do. And, the current board, we just approved our strategic plan in March. And it took us about a year to develop and to really think about how we were going to do that. And we centered focusing on the staff that we needed to be able to do the things that were in the strategic plan. So we've grown as a team in the 4 years that I've been here, and we've historically hung out around a 3-person staff. And we've added specifically somebody for communications. We've added somebody for public policy, and we've split up some of the roles so that we, don't have staff people doing 80 different things, and really worked to make sure that everything looks efficient and is efficient, not just looks, right? And so it's been so great to watch that happen and kind of see the dreams and the things that I've been thinking about come alive. And, I'm just so proud of the team for, UNA staff for doing what they do, and also for the board and their leadership and allowing us to, do these crazy things. Any other thoughts anybody wants to share as we celebrate our birthday?
Next year, we will throw a big party.
It's going to be like,
we need to.
It's going to be a barbecue. It's going to be a block party. I don't know about a barbecue. I might just be excited about a barbecue. I don't know. But we have decided it will be a block party. We're not sure whose block.
We're taking over someone's block.
It's going to be somewhere.
Mary?
Yeah.
I have a question. Okay. So we've looked back on 30 years and we're celebrating that. And I'm just wondering if you could, dreaming big for a moment, how about some previews of coming attractions? What do you hope we could accomplish as UNA in the next 5, 10, 20 plus years?
Well, we weren't quizzing. We weren't planning on being quizzed, Mary. It was about you guys answering the questions.
If you have a few things to share.
Well, I've been talking. Yeah, I've been talking a lot. What about the rest of Team
Allison,
UNA?
Jill, Colin,
Cameron,
Brandy? Yep.
Jill, go ahead.
Jill.
I think what I'm particularly excited about is something that Brandy started, and I think the rest of us have embraced pretty fully. And that's making UNA as valuable to our members as possible and using our members as a source for helping us understand what that is. And then Cameron and I have is Cameron somewhere? Oh, there she is, she's hiding. Cameron and I have the great joy of developing communications that share that value. And I just see us getting better at everything we do. Everything.
Go big or go home.
Technically, we're already home.
Touche. You win that one, Kate.
Guess some thoughts going through my head, with trying to figure out what my position does and what it has capacity for right now has been over the last 14 months has been interesting and good, and I think we're starting to settle into a flow. And with public policy, it's very important that UNA is involved in representing all nonprofits, and so it's exciting to see how we've been able to expand capacity and then look towards the future about what we can do. And I know eventually this position of mine will be full-time, and whether that's me or someone else, it'll be exciting to see what that full-time person is able to do.
I think we're probably headed into some new and unique times for all nonprofits. And I feel as though a lot of good things are going to happen everywhere. And I think throughout the state, it's excited. I'm excited that I get to be part of UNA. That is sort of going to be this great thread, weaved through. And that's always been my attraction to UNA, being able to be part of something that really is the ultimate and best practices, so to speak. But I think UNA is really going to support nonprofits in the state of Utah to do, I think, monumental things this year. And maybe, for a couple of years out of that, I don't think it'll all be done in a year. You never know. We're pretty efficient. But I think it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and I'll jump in here. And I think we, in this time, we're all at home, we're doing everything virtual, but I think all of us here at UNA have realized the opportunity we have to reach so many more people through these, virtual events that we have. And I have the awesome job of heading up our conference this year, which if you haven't heard is going virtual. And I think, in the years to come, we can really tap into that medium and expand our training and maybe expand conferences. Who knows, down the road, 5-10 years, what we'll be capable of, and targeting our training more and targeting, those specific areas in nonprofit operations that need more training. So it's been an interesting process, really switching quickly to doing virtual stuff. And I think, there's just so much opportunity there, and it's pretty exciting.
When I first came to UNA, I was under the impression that everybody knew who UNA was. And like every staff person at every organization knows about UNA. And I soon came to realize that was something that was it was broken in the system of how we were communicating with our members. So one of the things that I instituted about, maybe a year or so ago, I started reaching out to every staff person that we have in our database. When a member renews or joins, I welcome the entire team. All the information I can get, I'm sending it to everyone. And I think that that excites me because I'm seeing a lot more awareness of UNA. People, when they leave organizations and they're moving to other organizations, are reaching out going, I just got a new job at this new nonprofit. Are they members? If not, how do I get them to be members? Because we need your
Great.
resources. And I think that that's what excites me the most about where we're at, because of the history and the foundation of UNA and everything that has been built by very invested human beings, and working through those difficult conversations of taking over, I don't want to say taking over, but building the credential when there was differing opinions on how that could be delivered, and partnerships that have come and gone. There's always been this steadfast need to support our nonprofits no matter where they are. And I just see that growing even more over the years, especially as we improve upon our internal systems and be aware of our capacity as staff, and being very realistic with that. And so my biggest moment of excitement that I hear all the time, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of, is that not only is our membership staying consistent and we're really getting value to our members, but the awareness of what we're doing is increasing exponentially. And it's been really great to hear, or to be able to talk with people and communicate with those who need help right now, especially right now, to go, my friend told me about you and I need this. I want to be a member, or I need to know if my organization's a member. It's just been really great to see that bubbling up of excitement and buy-in, to know that we're not going to do it for you, but we are going to do our very best to get you what you need when you need it. Well, we are coming up to our ending time together. And I always like to recognize that we say something will start at 4 and end at 5, then that's what we should be doing. We want to be respectful of your time as much as possible. So I just thank you. And I'm going to turn the time over to Kate.
Thank you, Brandy, and thank you everybody for celebrating with us today. It's a big deal to turn 30 years old as a nonprofit organization, and to have gone through all of the very ridiculous challenges we had in our first years, and come out on the other end a thriving, successful organization that has many years ahead of us. And I am just so grateful for all of the leaders who have come before me, who have laid the groundwork, including all of the other executive directors, but also all of the board members and all of the nonprofit staff in our state that engage with us and have engaged with us along the way. It's just an honor and a joy to lead this organization, and cheers to us and cheers to you, because you and I are UNA, and just happy birthday.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Happy birthday.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Enjoy the night.
You too. Thanks for hosting this.
Of course.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Anytime.
Always available.
Thank you. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday. Ruby's gonna go get cookies.
We all get cookies?
So funny.
We were supposed to have cookies.
Mary's still on.
Yeah, there's something going on in the system.
Have we ended our recording?
Mm-mm. But now we will.